Mr. President, we are
Thank you. I've got some proceedings. votes and proceedings, page 12, 11, page 12, 13, page 12, 14, page 12, 15. Distinguished Senator Benson Kombowe. You may wish to move for the votes and proceedings to be approved.
Your Excellency, I'm Senator Benson Friday Kombowe, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, be adopted and form part of the documents of this House. I so move, Mr. President.
Distinguished sorry, Benson. You look into it again, but let the minority leader point out something.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on page 1214, the list of the ad hoc committee, the name of Senator Issa Jibrin was omitted, and we recall that he was nominated actually because of his versatile knowledge of the issue in question. And so if the President indulges me and the Senate agrees, we should add the name of Issa Jibrin as a member of the ad hoc committee.
His name is not there? His name is not there? Well, I think the Secretariat should note, because that was discussed and agreed upon. Am I right, Leader? Secretariat. So just note, correct it, and add the... Yes. Senator Biro.
Can I speak to it? I wanted to speak to the proposal by the minority leader. Because
it's an ad hoc committee.
Yes, because when you know, the committee is meant to work with the Capital Markets Committee, of which I believe Issa Jibrin is a member.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Issa Jibrin is not here, so even if it's better to err on the part of surplusage, so we can add it.
Well, Mr. President, sir, distinguished colleagues, it's at your discretion actually to make addition. We are considering these votes and proceedings. But my point is, if Senator Abiru's concern is that Senator Issa Jibrin is a member of the Committee on Capital Market, I think the person who actually brought the motion to order led to all of this, and who is also in a position to ensure that things are properly done and clarification sought, is actually Senator Shuaib Afolabi. You know, it was because he was not here yesterday, that was why we couldn't even get to the root of the whole thing. He's not a member of the Committee on Capital Market. So I think it's only normal for us to ensure that he's a member, should be added to the Abamoro ad hoc committee. You know,
okay.
I'm actually indifferent whether Senator Jibril Issa is added or not, since he's a
Okay.
member of
Capital,
but you
yes.
can make the pronouncement for both of them
So-
or one of them. Yes, sir.
We want to second the motion that brought Issa Jibril and SARS, Senator Afolabi, to be added.
I second,
Yes,
Mr. President.
Okay, distinguished colleagues, the amendment has been made that distinguished Senator Salisu Afolabi and distinguished Senator Issa Jibril should be added to the ad hoc committee. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the amendment is carried. Or I don't want to use the word carried. So Senator Kumbue, you can now move for adoption of the votes and proceedings
Your
as amended.
Excellency, I am Senator Benson Friday Kombore, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 3rd December 2025 be adopted and form part of the documents of this House. I so move.
Senator Kaka.
Thank you, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, my name is Kaka Shehu Lawan. I represent the good people of Borno Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, sir, I rise to second the motion ably moved by distinguished Senator Kombowe that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 3rd day of December 2025 as amended be approved. I so second, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, the votes have been moved and seconded. The motion has been moved and seconded that the votes and proceedings be approved. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings are hereby approved. Other paper.
Distinguished Senator Cyril Pasu, Distinguished Senator Adams Osumole, resume your seats. Distinguished Senator Saliu Mustapha. Kora Central.
Kora brother.
But
Order, please. Distinguished senators, resume your seats. Order, please.
distinguished colleagues, correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio Gison, President of the Senate, Distinguished Senate President, replacement of appointee of the Federal Character Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, subsection 1, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Victor Ikeji as Commissioner of the Federal Character Commission, representing Abia State. The Senate is invited to note that the appointment of Victor Ikeji is to replace Mr. Obinna Oriaki, earlier nominated via letter dated 9th October 2025, serial number 2, whilst hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the appointment of Victor Ikeji as Commissioner of the Federal Character Commission. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished Senators, the guarantees and assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, this is referred to the Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable. Another correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio Gideon, President of the Senate. Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 1541 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Honorable Chukwuemeka Chukwu, PhD, as Resident Electoral Commissioner representing Enugu State in the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the second and final term. Whilst hoping that this submission will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished Senators, the assurances of my consideration and personal regards. Signed, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Electoral Matters to screen and revert to the Senate within the next 2 weeks. Further correspondence from Mr. President. This one is dated 3rd day of December 2025. Well, I have 2 correspondences on the same subject matter, which I hope are different from one another. The first is the request for confirmation of appointments of career ambassadors / high commissioners designates. In accordance with the provisions of Section 171, subsection 1, 2C, and 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted 34 nominees as career ambassadors stroke high commissioners designate. For Abia State, we have Ambassador Mwabiola Ezenwa Chukwuemeka. For Adamawa State, we have Besto Maimuna Ibrahim. Anambra State, we have Enebeji Monica Okochukwu. For Bauchi State, we have Ambassador Mohammed Mahmoud Lele. For Bayelsa State, we have Endoni Sindov Paibi. For Borno State, we have Ambassador Ahmed Mohamed Mongunu. For Cross River State, we have Ambassador Jen Adams Ni Okon Michael. For Delta State, we have Ambassador Clark Omeru Alexandra. For Ebonyi State, we have Chima Jogri Leoma David. For Edo State, we have Oduma Yvonne Ihinosen. Edo State again, we have Wasa Shegun Ige. For Ekiti State, we have Ambassador Adeyemi Adebayo Emmanuel. For Enugu State, we have Ambassador Onaga Ogochukwu Kingsley. For Jigawa State, we have Ambassador Magaji Omar. For Kaduna State, we have Ambassador Muhammad Saidu Dahiru. For Kano State, we have Ambassador Abdul Salam Habus Zayat. For Katsina State, we have Ambassador Shehu Bade. For Katsina again, we have Ambassador Aminu Nasir. For Kebbi State, we have Abubakar Musa. For Kebbi State again, we have Ambassador Haidara Mohammed Idris. For Kogi State, we have Ambassador Bako Adamu Omar. For Kwara State, we have Ambassador Sulu Gambari Olatunji Ahmed. For Lagos State, we have Ambassador Romata Mohammed Omobolanle. For Nasarawa State, we have Ambassador Shaga John Shama. For Niger State, we have Salau Hamza Mohammed. For Niger State again, we have Ambassador Ibrahim Dan Lame. For Ogun State, we have Adiola Ibrahim Mope Lola. Leader, I hope I got the name right. So for Ondo State, we have Ruben Abimbola Samuel. For Osun State, we have Ambassador Akonde Wahab Adekola. For your State, we have Ambassador Arewa Ne Adedokun Esther. For Plateau State, we have Ambassador Gedagi Joseph John. For Rivers State, we have Ambassador Luther Obdanladi Yakubu Yako. For Zamfara State, we have Bello Dogondagi. While I hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the appointments of the nominees expeditiously, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These 34 nominees are hereby referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs to report back to the Senate within the next 1 week. Second, correspondence from Mr. President on the ambassadorial list. Distinguished Senate President, request for confirmation of appointments of non-career ambassadors to High Commissioners designates. In accordance with the provisions of Section 171, this time, the other one was 34. 31 nominees as non-career ambassadors. Adamawa State, Senator Grace Bent. Anambra State again, Ikurusi. For Benue State, we have Paul Barisa Oluwayimika. I don't want to misspell the name from the leader state. It will be unsenatorial. But in front, Oluwayimika Ayotunwa. Mrs. For Enugu State, we have Right Honorable Ogwai Ifeanyi. Ogwai, that must be the former governor, right? For Imo State, we have Barrister Mrs. Chioma Ohakim. For Kano State, we have Lieutenant General Abdul Rahman Bello Dambazao. For Katsina State, we have Honorable Tasio Musa Maigari. For Kogi, we have, for Nasarawa State, Ondo State, we have very distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim, PhD warfare, Daga. You may take your seat. For Ondo State again, we have Florence. For your state, we have Lola Akonde. For Plateau State, we have Yakubu Gambo. But anyway, let me read it correctly. For Plateau, we have Yakubu N. Gambo, in case there are two. For Rivers State, we have Onweze Chukujinga Haruna Abubakar. Confirm the appointments of the nominees expeditiously. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President.
if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day is required, except with the consent of the President and the general consent of the Senators. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I've come under within the borders of my senatorial district and that of Ogun State Senatorial District. Mr. President, with your permission.
Distinguished colleagues, distinguished Senator Abiru brought this to my attention. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. Once again, my name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, and I'd like to move the motion on the urgent need to address the widespread lead poisoning in Ogijo community within the boundary of Ikorodu and Ogun State Senatorial District. And this motion is actually co-sponsored by Senator Gbenga Daniel and my humble self. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the Senate notes with grave concern the reported and scientifically verified outbreak of lead poisoning among residents of Ogijo community within the boundary of the Ikorodu and Ogun State Senatorial District, which poses a severe public health and environmental catastrophe. Developmental delays in children's symptoms strongly associated with chronic lead exposure, and regrets that despite years of community outcry, smelter furnaces continue to operate and discharge toxic fumes from melted batteries. That by independent testing notes with concern that lead processed in Ogijo has been traced along international supply chains. Also, that several multinational battery and vehicle manufacturers either did not address the contamination findings or relied on supplier level assurances, with at least one battery producer admitting it had not previously traced the origin of its Nigerian lead. And concerned that while some factory operators deny wrongdoing, community exposure remains extreme. Accountability with security and welfare of the people. Commend the federal government for the decisive intervention through shutdowns and investigations, and urge the federal government environment and NESRA to conduct a detailed environmental remediation and contamination mapping exercise covering soil, groundwater, nations nationwide. Honorable Ministers of Environment of the department within NEMA
to lend my voice and second this urgent need to address the widespread of lead poisoning in Ogijo. I so second, sir. Ogun East, sorry.
Any contributor? SARS.
I'd like for efforts of particularly Ogun. And as we're making this move, asking federal agencies to support the state ministries of environment and health, they are moving, and as we speak, they are conducting some health status check for residents around that area. And I think this motion, this effort will strengthen what the state government is already doing, and also brings to the fore the need to focus on border communities, particularly between legal industry that we have in this country. And therefore, this intersection sometimes presents some challenges that are this motion and other agencies to move swiftly.
Because oftentimes our approach to this kind of problems is reactive instead of being proactive. And it is not a surprise that we're having a lot of renal problems around the communities in the Hadija Jama'ari River. I think agencies of government have to be up and doing, to be checking, to be proactive instead of being reactive. I commend the federal government for the timeous way the matter was handled, but I think it shouldn't be an isolated case. This should be a general wake-up call for all industrial areas in Nigeria, so that our people will be saved from these industrial hazards. I so support and commend the mover of this motion. Thank you, sir.
Is there any person opposed to this motion? No. So we go to the prayers. Thank you. Prayer 1, commend the federal government for a decisive intervention through shutdowns and investigations, and urge the federal government to sustain and broaden enforcement actions taken so far, including closure of non-compliant facilities, export suspension, prosecution of violators, and strengthened industrial safety monitoring, and further commend the Lagos and Ogun state governments and their agencies for their active engagement, swift responses, and collaborative actions so far. Those in support of prayer 1 as couched say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Mapping exercise. Prayer 4, recycling and lead, urge NEMA to provide emergency relief, protective kits, food support, clean water intervention, and temporary relocation assistance in highly contaminated houses. Prayer 6, invite the honorable ministers of environment, health, solid minerals development, labor and employment, and the DG NESTRA to brief the Senate Committee on Environment on the national cleanup strategy implementing labor and employment.
It is in respect of the briefing to brief the Senate committees on environment and solid minerals. It's of the briefing.
Okay. What you are saying is that the briefing should not go to only environment.
Yes.
It should also go to
Committee on solid minerals.
The Committee on Solid Minerals.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any seconder? Yes. Yes, distinguished Senator. Go ahead. Oh, now we can do it.
Okay. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Mohammed Ogoshionao. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my able chairman that the Solid Minerals Committee be included for briefing. I so second. Thank you.
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, prayer 6 as amended, those in support say aye, those against say nay.
Motion, I rise to suggest an amendment to prayer 7 to read, recommend the establishment of a department within NEMA to handle mineral prospecting and mining. Because you don't create a department is a task force. A department is a permanent unit within the institution. So a department to handle
mining of lithium and other associated batteries.
Yes, sir.
Is there any seconder? Senator Plan?
President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Dicket Plan. I rise to second the amendment of number 7 item so that it will tolerate all other minerals, not just lead. I so second, sir.
So what you are seconding is sit down.
Yes, sir.
What you are seconding is that instead of saying recommend the establishment of a department within NEMA to be known as the National Lead Poisoning Response and Remediation Task Force, it shouldn't be task force. It should be a department. So we remove the word task force. National lead poisoning response and remediation to coordinate cleanup. So remove task force.
Mr. President, sir.
Joining mining, all minerals,
Yes,
not
all
just
poisoning and other minerals.
And
Permanently there, it will really assist, and it will any injurious fallout of any mining activity will be referred to that committee, including lead poisoning. So thank you for that correction. Those in support of this establishment of this department say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now, this is very important for us to follow up. Ahmed to the Senate, because this department is very essential, and I mean, the issue is life-threatening, and a lot of communities have suffered and died from here. We had a battery industry in my place in the 1980s, and then suddenly we recorded a lot of deaths from the small river, because these things were just seeping into the river. It was very close to the river, and people were drinking from that same river, taking their baths from there and all sort of things, and eventually life expectancy in that community was not up to 40 years. So of course, you know, being a rural community, people did not know that this was from lead poisoning. So the final recommendation: direct the Committee on Legislative Compliance to monitor compliance and report back to the Senate within 6 weeks. No, we should give it time because of the establishment of the department. Can we say within 2 months? So those in support, that would be prayer 8, that the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance should monitor compliance with the resolutions of today and report back to the Senate as soon as practicable. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Abiru, let me thank you for this all-important motion. This touches on the lives of Nigerians, and what you are doing by bringing this to the fore and bringing this to the attention of all Nigerians. You are not only projecting the injurious aspect of lead operations, battery, and be ready, because this is dangerous to life. I thank you so much, and I also commend the federal government and the 2 states without waiting for it to happen. Thank you, and I thank all my colleagues who have made contributions to this.
Point of order.
Yeah.
Leave of the President of the Senate. A senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, to the President of the Senate, to make this very important, present the very important motion to the Senate. Compliance. The Senate, aware that international oil companies are privately owned petroleum entities that operates across the entire energy chain, ranging from upstream exploration and production to midstream, downstream, refining and marketing activities. Aware that all international oil companies are in strategic partnership with our national oil company, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, vertically integrating its business operations and managing their investments for mutual long-term growth for both parties. Further aware that pursuant to the need for holistic reforms in the petroleum industry, ease of doing business and encouragement of local content in the industry, the Petroleum Industry Bill was passed in 2008 in contracts award, and except where there is no local or domestic, clearly stipulates and places notes also that of laws and acknowledged importance of this legislation, most international oil companies persist in flagrant disregard for these laws by engaging expatriate individuals and vendors for supplies and services within the stifles per capita income, procurement imbalance, and general economic woes. Now, therefore, this Senate result and local content.
Point of order.
Senator Nader, they want you to use your campaign voice so that they can hear you better.
Committees to comment records and recommend sanctions in the event of infraction. 3, report back to the distinguished chambers.
Leave of the President of the Senate. A senator may make a personal, I underline that, personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, and no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise from the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of in written. I'm sure he didn't do that. If he had done so, you'll have told him, no, you can't read this under this order. Besides that, his leader, well experienced, submit.
Point of order. You ought to have submitted a copy to me, and you don't come under personal explanation. You don't bring a motion that concerns you, the Senate, as the chairman of the view of the Senate that he be allowed to be a legislative date. Distinguished colleagues, National Center for Renewable Energy Research, Oran.
Colleague, the second business of workforce registry, establishment bill 2025 SB 976. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Health Workforce Registry Establishment Bill 2025 SB 976, first reading.
Establishment Bill 2025.
Mr. President, distinguished
Niger State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 977, first reading.
Distinguished Senator Plank, though you asked for permission from me before you approach the chair, your time is off.
The chief whip, did we approve that they should get permission from you before they come here? And they've already started implementing. Leader of the Senate.
President of the Senate. The Secretariat will be in a better position to answer that question. But let me just say,
we should go backwards and ensure that all bills that had gone through first reading should be slated for second reading. In that order. And then, because I believe that every senator is important and every idea is important. Because this looks very fast.
Mr. President, I will engage.
I will allow this.
I will engage with the rules
I will
and
allow
business.
this, but please, when next anybody wants to bring second reading, think of your colleagues. If your colleagues' first reading has been lacking for 6 months, there is no need to expect your own to come a first reading within the same month, and second reading, third reading, and pass or whatever. So let's try and give others an opportunity so that their bills can also progress. I'm just noting that it's not.
I believe that is a message to the entire leadership and to the rules and business.
Yes,
but
rules and business.
This is also something that
and clerk of the
we can
Senate,
engage.
Let's with the rules and business and give me a report on all the bills that are passed through first reading that are yet to come for second reading. I would like to get it by next week. And then also the committees, all the committees are expected to send in their reports for the half term, for the first 2 years. And they should send in their, yeah, come again? On Air Force and many other committees. Please, as soon as practicable, let us get all the committee reports in before the end of the year, so we can review what has been going on. The downstream, so the leader of the Senate, you will choose a date for the committees to submit their reports here, because some of the reports we may take them either in closed session or in the open, depending on whether they have security implications. But we must have
Act in order to establish a comprehensive and regulatory framework for the supervision and oversight of institutions operating within the financial system and providing technology-enabled financial services. So the need for this amendment is that, derives from the fact that it has become not only necessary but urgent, given the evolving realities of our financial ecosystem and the emerging risks associated with large-scale, data-intensive and technologically driven financial service providers whose operations now constitute critical national infrastructure. As we all know, in the last decade, Nigeria has experienced a deep transformation in the character and structure of financial services. Technology-enabled financial institutions, mobile money operators, payment service banks and wallet providers, digital lenders, switching and settlement companies have become not just part of the system or some volumes and hold vast pools of sensitive consumer and financial data. Their platform has not kept pace with the increasing scale, influence, and the interconnectedness. Mr. President and distinguished, but the scope of that designation is currently oriented primarily towards deposit money bank arise. Some fintechs now operate at a scale that has clear implications for financial stability. Their customer bases number in tens of millions, and their transaction flows rival those of mid-sized banks. In addition, many of these institutions hold extensive behavioral and financial data with far-reaching implications for privacy, commercial competition, and national security. In some cases, these entities are part of foreign-owned networks with offshore data storage, foreign-linked computer infrastructure, and opaque beneficial ownership structures that complicate regulatory visibility. Of equal concern is the emerging issue of data sovereignty. In a digital economy, financial data is no longer a mere administrative asset. It is a strategic national resource. Yet today, we cannot say with certainty where all the financial and the behavioral data processed by some of these institutions are stored, or who has access to them, or which foreign jurisdictions they may lay claim to it. Last year in particular, recent developments have made these gaps even more evident. In April last year, if we may recall, Central Bank ordered a temporary halt to onboarding for several fintechs over issues related to KYC, know your customer, and of course anti-money laundering and suspicious transactions. Although onboarding was restored after remediation, the episode highlighted a deeper truth, that the scale and influence of these institutions have outgrown the regulatory tools available under existing law. From a global perspective, Nigeria is not alone in confronting this challenge. Many countries, Kenya, South Africa, Egypt, India, Singapore, Even the US and members of the European Union have adopted assertive frameworks that treat large fintechs and technology-enabled service providers as critical infrastructure. So therefore, what this bill seeks to achieve, one, is to create a statutory basis for the central bank to designate fintechs, payment intermediaries, digital lenders, and other technology-enabled financial service providers as systemically important institutions where their operations pose systemic risk, data or national security implications. Secondly, it establishes a national registry of fintechs and systemically important institutions, enabling traceability, continuous disclosure of requirements tailored to the unique risks posed by the large technology-enabled firms. Fourthly, it will strengthen Nigeria's data sovereignty, and of course, lastly, it will enhance consumer protection, market competition, and systemic stability. Mr. President and my distinguished colleague, AI innovation during foreign firms. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the question, it is evident that establishing an entirely new agency will duplicate functions, create bureaucratic overlap, and increase administrative costs, and fragment regulatory authority in a sector where coordination and coherence are essential. So fintech regulation is deeply intertwined with monetary policy, payment oversight, regulation supervision, and enforcement of systemic monitoring, functions that already reside naturally and logically within the Central Bank of Nigeria. So a parallel agency will not only complicate the ecosystem, but it will also undermine the consistency of national financial regulation. So furthermore, international best practice overwhelmingly supports integrating across disconnected integration between fintechs and the broader financial system. So therefore, payment systems, digital credit, settlement engines, mobile money, and data-driven financial artificial barriers slow down oversight and weaken systemic and financial stability. Top 3 of the Senate orders.
Also, at the same time, thank the sponsor of this bill, Senator Abiru, for coming with this at this point in time. I think with the special technology companies, both in Nigeria and that operate above, the current law that we have in the central bank only takes care of the top banking financial institutions. It is not financial regulatory agencies under, for us to see which kind of coordination that is thinking in this amendment in order to protect the economy.
Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, let me join Senator Yaya Abdullahi in commending the Chairman Senate Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions in taking the lead to amend the Banking and Other Financial Institution Act Amendment Bill. If I could recollect, the last time this bill was amended was during the early part of the Ninth Senate, where it was an holistic amendment that was done to the extent of the organizational structure of the Central Bank of Nigeria, in the appointment of directors and all other sundry matters. But Mr. President, the chairman is coming up with a unique amendment. A unique amendment in the sense that during the Ninth Senate, and if you can recollect, there is always a finance bill that comes with the budget. One of the provision, one of the finance bill asks this Senate to pass was the issue of the online transactions, where we are losing so much money as a result of lack of any enabling acts in place to protect online transaction in Nigeria. We passed that act, we worked on it. Today, Facebook
pay as much as minimum of about 100 billion without going through the banking system. As we speak this morning, maybe a minimum of about $20 million, 100 billions of naira has gone through the different kind of platform without any recourse back to any of our banks in Nigeria. So what this bill tends to achieve is to amend the existing Banking and Other Financial Institution Act to create a structure. What central bank is just doing is using what we call as much as a bravado, putting guidelines that this is what you can do, this is what only God knows how far it can go. So what this bill tends to achieve is an holistic provision for this online transaction. I can tell you for free, Mr. President, there are some online transaction of the committee for taking the bull by the horn by coming up with this amendment. And I want to call on my colleague that in the interest of our economy, in the interest of the country, that let us join on to ensure that we expedite action on this bill so that Nigeria can gain more and also redefine our economy as one of the developed African nations in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. I stand to join my colleagues. Really important institutions are not really regulated here. If you look at the fintechs, if you look at many of the algorithms you find in financial sector are foreign-based and are not regulated. So I think this bill is trying to meet the place you run back to. You can't go to NDIC because the regulation does not give that, does not cover up to that. So when you look at also, there will be synergy between both the CBN, the SEC, National Insurance Corporation, Regulatory Commission, and NDIC. You will see there will be a synergy. And this framework, when it starts, when it's enacted to law, it will also enable Nigeria to have more revenue, because there are so many leakages through the fintechs. Today, if you look at OPay, if you look at Money Points, the transaction, the daily transaction they do is more than so many of the standard banks that we have. So I think it's important we all support this bill and allow it to go.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip.
Well, Mr. President, all the previous speakers, because putting legal framework on ground, it will give the regulatory institution the power to not only back but bite. So against this background, I think we should support the.
Well, this is just the second reading. We don't need to go to the details. No problem. Thank you. No, people. When we go to the, then we'll look at that. So, Senator Jibril Issa, then Senator Victor Ume, to take care of fintechs, and also let's have 1 minute to kind of strengthen the argument raised by those who spoke before you.
Okay, 1 minute. Your Excellency, very distinguished colleagues, Issa Jibril from Kogi East. Your Excellency, this bill is lure people into their businesses. And like I said, where you have high risk, you have high return. And the probability of that system collapsing is very, very, very high. So it is very important that we expand the scope of BOFIA to cover these areas. But like you rightly pointed out, I want to believe that they are actually doing it. Well, maybe we can tell them to intensify their efforts in that area because of the possible high risk involved in this area of businesses. I know, but very importantly too, is that in the course of doing that, the Securities and Exchange Commission in particular should also be brought on. When there is high risk and there is houses that are covered, if anything,
customers also very, very important. Victor Ume, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. Vision here on the receiving of ransoms by the kidnappers. They receive these monies not through the conventional banks. It's through these fintechs that these monies are wired and they collect no trace no trail of transaction of these sums of money to up the money. So I support this bill. I'm happy that
Central. So, President, I just want to buttress one point on this the new bill, and I'm pleased with it because it's going.
So the 1 minute starts
Just
now.
to say, sir.
The 1 minute starts now. No problem. It starts now.
God bless you, Mr. President. I believe we should all support this bill and even go into details to ensure that all possible loopholes are blocked. Because when they hacked into my account, I found that all the institutions used are this OPay, MoneyPoint, etc., etc. None of the registered banks were used. And when I asked, I'm told that's it. They don't have a branch in Abuja. They don't employ labor. They bear no social responsibility. So I think in addition to all those insurances, all these loopholes will be blocked. For example, I know all the directors of First Bank, of Access Bank, of Zenith Bank. I don't know the directors of OPay. I don't know the directors of MoneyPoint. These are visible players in our economy, play such an important role. And the day they go under, the political authority will be left with the burden of providing for Nigerians who have been duped. The primary purpose of government is to protect the citizens in every ramification. So I therefore that this law is not only timely, it's appropriate, and the point has been made even by your good self, Mr. President, that regulation
bill should go for second reading. And it's not very difficult to decipher. Fintech is at the intersection of finance and technology. And as the chairman of Senate Committee on ICT and Cyber Security, our laws to ensure that the bill that is supposed to
remove from the Financial Action Tax Acts. In other words, we are now free from money laundering and all that. This bill is intendium with the global thinking, or intendium with the global financial abiru to make sure that we are intendium with global financial security. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Thank you, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, and an ambassador designate for your wonderful intervention. And I will put the question. Those in favor that this bill be read a second time, please say aye.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the banks
and other financial institutions act to provide for the designation, registration, and enhanced supervision of systematically important institutions and for related matters 2025 SB 959 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions to report back within 4 weeks. Let me commend Senator Abiru, the Baba Adini of Ikorodu, and the Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions for bringing forward this bill. As debated, everyone could see the importance of this bill. Speakers after speakers, current and both here, should always leverage on their existence to have necessary facts. I mean, their tax, sorry, necessary facts, and also for the customers to be protected. Otherwise, one day we might find ourselves in big problem, and government may be losing a lot of money. A lot of money that need to come to its coffers, being left without being brought into its coffers. So thank you for your innovation. ICT wants to be part of it. So ICT, thank you for also being in Bofia, amendment of Bofia. So ICT should work with the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Financial Institutions.
In this chamber on Thursday, 9th October 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Kalu Oji Uzo to move the motion for the bill
Proceed.
Distinguished colleagues, this bill seeks to confront one of the most present national challenges, extreme poverty. Despite various interventions over the years, millions of Nigerians still lack access to basic necessity. What have been missing in a centralized, coordinated, and data-driven institution to manage social welfare programs effectively? This bill provides exactly that. It proposes the establishment of social welfare service as a department under the ministry responsible for humanitarian affairs with branches in all the 36 states and FCT. This ensures that social protection programs are not just Abuja-centered, but reach communities nationwide. The service will be responsible for designing, implementing welfare programs, including food transfers, cash transfers, education stipends, housing support, subsidies for marginal farmers, credit schemes, allowances for elderly and persons with disability. It will also develop targeting mechanisms to ensure that only genuine vulnerable households benefit from it. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, a key innovation on this bill is the creation of safety centers across the Federation, serving as operational hubs for identifying beneficiaries, delivering support, and monitoring outcomes. This bill mandates the maintenance of a registered hub on the programs. Farmers and residents of distinguished colleagues, this bill represents a bold step towards building a modern, transparent, and sustainably
Sponsored by my good friend and brother, Senator Ojo Uzokalu. And let me commend him for coming up with this very revolutionary bill. In the past, several measures have been taken to alleviate poverty. Recall, we have National Poverty Eradication Program, Nigeria Investment Poverty Reduction Program, hand out the required result as the situation, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, is alarming, and that's why this bill is very timely and apt, and I want all my colleagues to support it, because the 10th Senate will write its name in gold if we come out with a very strong legislation that will reduce extreme poverty in Nigeria, particularly in rural areas where people cannot get. That's why all of us should support this bill. By so doing, we will reduce poverty to the barest minimum. I so support, Mr. President. Thank you.
The chief whip. Sorry, the leader.
Senator, I will want to, and I think this submission, especially when the proponent of the bill wrote that there are some families that are earning below 5,000 monthly. I don't know whether we call that one close to a subsistence level, work more. How Nigeria,
my elder brother and a colleague in the House of Representatives that place about 60% of Nigerians living beyond 7 by way of scientifically driven data. Get data of Nigerians that are living poverty. Just like what data-driven approach, and then engage majority of its people in agriculture.
because you will recollect that successive administration have done so much in the area of social intervention. But this, as much as we try, there is no proper coordination. The set target, because is to ensure for proper coordination of our social intervention by setting up this. The key innovation of this kind of who do you empower in my area? Who do you give this social intervention to in my department, in my locality? But with the creation of this bill, creating a safety centers across the federation, it will address this, at least modernize offices across the 36 states of the federation. I commend the mover once again, and I say this is the right step in the right direction. I so submit, Mr. President.
Now, Mr. President, the importance of the bill. One major programs of government in terms of personal cash transfer. A lot of people still today never believe anybody got that money because we don't have a coordinated system where
anything you want to do without carrying rural population with you is a failure. Because most of these people are so poor, and the amount than 7 is in place. That includes the governors and the local government. It will work so governors alone on their own. But if they are inculcated, everybody is in the same place, you will see that whatever we do now, practically Nigeria will be safe. Without that,
thank you,
I support my friend.
Senator Fada Hunsi.
And God bless.
Well, I don't think we need too much debate on this. Please, let's have 1 minute because this is already operational. The social welfare initiatives, several social welfare initiatives are being introduced by the government and they are ongoing. So we have to understand that. It's only for us to probably a kind of commend the government and probably add that there should be a kind of
the sponsor of this bill, my elder brother, Excellency Uzokalu, always produce when we are giving a number and the percentage of the vulnerable Nigerians that need this help. Because previously, when we take facilities from World Bank to support such interventions, most of these funds don't get to the vulnerables. It ends up somewhere. But where there is a statistical data which is aligned with our national identity and also the bank, synergize with the banks, it will be easier for these vulnerable people to be supported. So I support this bill and I believe that we will pass this bill to the
Senator Adam Oshomole.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also like to commend one of our ancestors, Senator Kalu, for this bill. There's a lot of job to be done, even to define who is poor, not as it's defined here, 5,000 a month. No, I think the issues are not exactly like that. But it does point to the fact that there are Nigerians who are totally, socially, and economically excluded. Just 1 minute.
Please, those in favor that the bill be now be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
In poverty among the vulnerable SB 40, second reading.
To reduce extreme poverty, SB to the committee bill is a bill that, as we speak, I know a very big, there's a preparation in respect to a very big program that will bring succor to a particular at the world's level. So we commend you and also commend the President for what he's doing in respect to this kind of arrangement. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third order of the day is the second reading of the birth, death, etc. Compulsory Registration Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025 SB 913. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 15 October 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Ume Victor to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Victor Ume, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Victor Ume OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move the motion to lead the debate on the births, deaths, and etc. Compulsory Registration Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 913.
You may proceed, please. You don't need a seconder in this kind of motion. When you move the motion, then you proceed.
Just for courtesy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take your permission to go on. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Federation of Nigeria 2004, and to reenact the births, deaths, and so on and so forth, compulsory registration vital statistics system. Colleagues, the current law governing the registration of births and deaths in Nigeria, the Births, Deaths, and etc. Compulsory Registration Act, Cap B9, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, is a colonial era legislation that has become obsolete and grossly inadequate for our present realities. Data capture, inefficiency, duplication of efforts, and lack of reliable national statistics. In a digital age where data drives governance, planning, and service delivery, Nigeria cannot continue to rely on paper-based systems for vital registration. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria's civil registration system faces multiple challenges. 50% of deaths are officially registered. Part of the problem, fragmented security and social welfare. This bill seeks to modernize Nigeria's CS system. Specifically, the bill aims to, among other things, repeal the outdated births and deaths and etc. Compulsory Registration Act, establish a comprehensive real-time electronic platform for the registration of all vital events, births, deaths, marriages, divorces, adoptions, and stillbirths. System, ECRVS, provision for digital certification of births and deaths, mandatory registration of all vital events within stipulated time frames, and recognition of the world, the ability of an electronic and reliable civil registration and vital statistics system that will enhance national planning, security, and development. I thank you very much, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill to go for second reading. Thank you.
It gives me an opportunity to say this is long overdue. It also makes me sad that this law is just coming to the floor of the parliament week issue. And even though our foreign policy says Africa is a corner piece of Nigerian foreign policy, that does not give right to anybody. 10% of our general population now are registered at birth. And when you look at all the developed countries, there is no dying here. How many middle-aged people, how many young men, how many women, how many unmarried men, how many unmarried ladies. This, when you put in money where it belongs. So I support this bill with all seriousness it deserves.
Senator Dikaplan.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Our President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Dikaplan. Bill moved by our elder and chairman of the Senate Committee on National Population and Civic Registration. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to stress on the importance of childbirth and death. It helps to give identity to a child. It helps to also allow a child to enjoy his privileges. That at birth, every child must be registered. It helps to give a true identity for a child. And it helps the child to have privileges for all the advantages he may get as a result of his age. It helps government to plan for primary health care. It helps government to plan even for education. Sir, death is also very important. It is when you have a registration of a death of a person that you begin to work for the privilege of the person that has passed away. The death certificate also helps you to know the reason for death. And therefore, as a country, Nigeria should not be left behind without having this done compulsorily. I support this National Population Commission. The National Population Commission is a universal set, even for INEC, because the INEC uses a subset of a population of a universal set. And therefore, nothing should be too much for us to ensure that demography is not compulsorily kept. I support this bill, and I pray that this bill should be given accelerated attention. I thank you, sir.
This bill is very straightforward, and we want to move forward to take your motion. The more you want to speak, the more you will waste time on 1 minute getting to your motion. You still want to speak? You are the chance of getting a lot of issues related to data collection in development of our economy would have been well taken care of. And this bill respects specific Nigeria Data Bank before before this 10th Assembly, this 10th Senate, just to take judicial notice. Thank you, sir. Senator Emmanuel Pisagba, you have the floor.
Jide Ipinshagba, representing the good people of Ondo North Senatorial District. I want to support this bill 100% forecasting for budget. So it is very necessary we have knowledge of what the population is. Are very, very necessary when we are making this consideration in preparation of our budget and national planning. Collecting money from the government is because of the inaccuracy of knowledge of population that we have in place. So with this, we can also see that if we have ways and means of getting what our population is at a particular time, the death rate, the birth rate, we all have them. It's going to be an easy thing for us. So with this, I want to put my way.
This bill now be ready second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
For an act to repeat the birth, death, etc., Compulsory Registration Act, Cap B9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and to enact the Compulsory Civil Registration 2025 to provide for electronic civil registration system and for related matters, 2025 SB 913, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the births, deaths, and so on Compulsory Registration Act, Cap B9 LFN 2004, and to enact the Compulsory Civil Registration 2025 to provide identity and national population to report back within 4 weeks. The Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Senate President, time beyond 3 o'clock to enable us treat some important outstanding issue in the order of the day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, motion seconded as moved. I so second.
You may proceed.
Today, because of some issues, single lead debate on the bills. Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on these important bills from House of Representatives for the HB 979. Administering the pension scheme, Federal Capital Courts, Repeal and Enactment Act number 12 of 2010, and criminal jurisdiction on area courts in the Federal Capital to the distribution of the courts to the extent set out in the establishment warrant, and make provision for the application of Penal Code Act, Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2025, and any other written law which the court may be authorized to enforce in accordance with provision of this bill. Mr. President, respected colleagues, these bills are straightforward and clause by clause consideration.
This bill under consideration, what the bill essentially seeks to do is to exempt 14. Mr. President, and therefore what this bill seeks to do is good and germane, because area courts nowadays are being presided over by lawyers, trained lawyers, therefore and well grounded.
Is there any delay of the Senate?
Of the pension scheme for the 2014 and for related.
Mr. Other things, expand the jurisdiction of the area courts to entertain those in favor of the motion say aye. Pension Board Establishment Bill 12 favor. That clause is council. Bill 2025 HB 378. Those in favor. That clause is 1 is 11. Those in favor. That clause is 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. 40. The leader, the minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting at chair, I second the motion that the Senate can revert to plenary so that the chair can report progress.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Report and approve as follows. Schedules 1 to 2 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Loan title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole? That the Federal Capital Territory Abuja areas 50, repeat clause 53 as recommended. Short title clause 54 as recommended. Reflection of what transpired in the committee of
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Pension Scheme under the Pension Reform Act 2014 and for related matters 2025 HB 979, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act, third reading, a bill for an act
the pension scheme for the personnel of the force. I exempt the force from the area court to, among other things, expand the jurisdiction of the area courts to entertain both civil and criminal matters and for related matters.
Your Excellency Ibrahim Folorunsho on the achieving fair and balanced infrastructure development, specifically expansion of Akure Ore Road, repairs to the Ore Okutipupa Igbokoda Unity Road.
Senator G. O'Brien, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, the Senate President and my distinguished colleagues, for achieving fair and balanced infrastructure development expansion route, specifically Akure Ore Road repairs. Design has increased significantly, total appropriation of over 30 billion, with the same amount allocated in the 2023 fiscal years. The project is ongoing and forms part of Nigeria's commitment to the United Nations supported major highways are commendable. It is critical to capture and address concerns of key stakeholders affected by road conditions in the oil producing areas. Aware that Ondo State is an oil producing state contributing 7% of Nigeria crude oil revenue, with the major Igbekoda Federal Road, which is directly linked to the ongoing project number CR65 Ondo South Senatorial District, has historical coexistent peacefully and are committed to preserving their shared heritage and collective identity. Mr. Senate President, recognize the commune concludes that excluding Ore Okitupa Igbekoda Road from the ongoing federal government repairs effectively overlooked the only federal highway serving the oil community zone in the area, thereby marginalizing more than 2 million residents, including 1.5 million registered voters in Ondo South Senatorial District. In the interest of justice, equity, and national unity, it is important that the condor be included in the ongoing work. Only one prayer. Accordingly, aware, urge the federal government, Federal Ministry of Works to incorporate Ore Okitupa Igbekoda Federal Road in the ongoing federal government repairs on the Akure Ore Road under project C number 6509. I so much respectively, Mr. Senate President.
The Deputy Leader of the Senate, to Abdul Ahmed Ningi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate. Mr. President of the Senate, my name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, democracy, presence of members elected. When a senator raises up to discuss the problem, have been to that domain or not, it is incumbent upon all of us to support a particular senator who brings up, and it gives me producing area. For one reason or the other, roads like on that particular community, or another member that notices that out and clear about the suffering of his people. And basically, that's why we come here. However, it is important now to say, apart from the federal government, that the prayer specifically targeted, we must encourage Senator Jimo to also key into the NDDC. Why did I say that? Because more often than not, I have seen states who do just federal roads in anticipation of repayment. So it is important that this kind of attention should not only be targeted, even though it's a federal road, which is really ascertained, confirmed it's a federal road, Cannot wait for federal government on NDDC and state government. I so submit, Mr.
Thank you. We go to the prayers. The only prayer, Okitipupa, on the Akure Ore corridor under Project C, certificate number 6509. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay.